Alright, let's sleep. Pull the blankets up to your chin. Fluff your pillow. Turn off your phone and let the darkness settle around you like a soft, warm cloak. Tonight, we're going to travel back in time to a city that no longer exists, at least, not in the way it once did. We're going to visit Constantinople, the city of the world's desire, the capital of an empire that lasted for over 1,000 years, the most magnificent, the most wealthy, the most fiercely defended city in all of Christendom. We're going to tell the story of its rise, its glory, its slow decline, and its final, terrible fall. It is a story of emperors and patriarchs, of crusaders and sultans, of golden mosaics and smoking cannonballs, of a city that was the crossroads of the world and the prize that everyone wanted to possess. But before we get to the siege and the fall, we need to understand how it all began, with a Roman emperor who had a vision, a city that was built on 7 hills like Rome itself, and a dream that would outlast the empire that created it. The New Rome. The year is 324 CE. The place is the ancient Greek city of Byzantium, on the European shore of the Bosporus, the narrow strait that connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, the gateway between Europe and Asia. The Roman Empire is in turmoil. The emperor, Constantine, has just defeated his rival Licinius, and he is now the sole ruler of the entire Roman world. Constantine is a man of ambition and vision. He has seen the old capital, Rome, and he has seen its decline, the corruption, the decay, the endless civil wars. He wants a new capital, a Christian capital, a city that will be worthy of his empire and his faith. He chooses Byzantium. The site is perfect, defensible, strategically located, and blessed with a natural harbor that can shelter the largest fleet in the world. He renames the city Constantinople, the city of Constantine, and he declares it the New Rome. The city is built on a grand scale. Constantine constructs a massive new forum, a hippodrome for chariot races, a great palace for himself and his successors, and a network of aqueducts and cisterns to supply water to the growing population. He invites the wealthy and the powerful to move to his new city, offering them land, privileges, and the promise of a bright future. The city grows rapidly. Within a few decades, it is one of the largest and most prosperous cities in the world. It is also the center of a new faith, Christianity, which Constantine has made the official religion of the Roman Empire. For the next 1,000 years, Constantinople will be the heart of the Byzantine Empire, a civilization that is the direct continuation of the Roman Empire in the East. The citizens of Constantinople call themselves Romans, and they speak Greek, and they follow the Orthodox Christian faith. They are the heirs of Rome, and they are proud of it. The walls. The first walls of Constantinople are built by Constantine himself, but they are not enough to protect the city from the barbarian invasions that are sweeping across Europe. In the 5th century, the Emperor Theodosius II orders the construction of a new set of walls, the Theodosian walls, that will become the most formidable fortifications in the medieval world. The Theodosian walls are a masterpiece of military engineering. They consist of 3 concentric lines of defense, a deep moat, a low outer wall, and a massive inner wall, studded with towers that are spaced at regular intervals. The walls are nearly 5 kilometers long, and they stretch from the Sea of Marmara to the Golden Horn. They are so strong that they will repel every attack on the city for over 1,000 years, until the cannons of the Ottoman Empire finally breached them in 1453. The walls give the citizens of Constantinople a sense of security, a feeling of invincibility. They believe that their city is protected by God, by the Virgin Mary, and by the saints whose relics are housed in the city's countless churches. They believe that Constantinople will never fall. The Golden Age. The greatest of all Byzantine emperors is Justinian I, who reigns from 527 to 565 CE. Justinian is a man of immense ambition and energy. He dreams of restoring the Roman Empire to its former glory, of reconquering the lost provinces of the West, Italy, North Africa, and Spain. He is aided by his brilliant general, Belisarius, one of the greatest military commanders in history. Belisarius leads a series of campaigns that reconquer North Africa from the Vandals, Italy from the Ostrogoths, and parts of Spain from the Visigoths. The Byzantine Empire reaches its greatest territorial extent under Justinian. But Justinian's greatest achievement is not military, it is cultural and legal. He commissions a new legal code, the Corpus Juris Civilis, which will become the foundation of Western law for centuries. He also builds the Hagia Sophia, the Church of Holy Wisdom, which is the most magnificent building in the Christian world. The Hagia Sophia is a masterpiece of engineering and art. It is built between 532 and 537 CE, and its architects, Anthemius of Tralles and Isidorus of Miletus, design a structure that seems to float on air. The massive dome, which is 55 meters high, is supported by a system of pendentives that distribute the weight evenly. The interior is covered in gold mosaics, marble columns, and the most precious materials that the empire can provide. When Justinian enters the completed church for the first time, he is said to have exclaimed, "Solomon, I have outdone you." The Hagia Sophia will remain the largest cathedral in the world for nearly 1,000 years. It will be the spiritual heart of the Byzantine Empire, the place where emperors are crowned and where the most important religious ceremonies are held. The wars of religion. But the Byzantine Empire is not just a political entity, it is also a religious one. The Orthodox Church is the center of Byzantine life, and the emperor is the defender of the faith. This leads to conflicts, both with the Islamic world, which expands rapidly in the 7th and 8th centuries, and with the Western Church, which gradually diverges from the Eastern Church in doctrine and practice. The conflict with the Islamic world is existential. In the 7th century, the Arabs conquer Syria, Egypt, and North Africa, all of which have been part of the Byzantine Empire. In the 8th century, they besiege Constantinople itself, but the city is saved by the Theodosian walls and by a secret weapon, Greek fire. Greek fire is a terrifying incendiary weapon that the Byzantines use in naval battles. It is a flammable liquid that is pumped through a siphon and ignited, creating a stream of fire that can burn on water. The secret of Greek fire is carefully guarded, and it gives the Byzantine navy a decisive advantage over its enemies. The conflict with the Western Church is more internal. In 1054, the Great Schism formally divides Christianity into Eastern Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism. The two churches excommunicate each other, and the schism becomes a permanent divide that will have profound consequences for the Byzantine Empire. The Crusades, a betrayal. In 1095, Pope Urban II calls for the First Crusade, a holy war to liberate Jerusalem from Muslim rule. The Byzantine Emperor, Alexios I Komnenos, welcomes the Crusaders, hoping that they will help him recover lost territories in Anatolia. But the relationship between the Byzantines and the Crusaders is fraught with tension. The Crusaders are independent and unruly, and they do not always obey the Byzantine Emperor. They also have their own agendas, to conquer land, to gain wealth, and to establish their own kingdoms in the East. In 1204, the tensions come to a head. The Fourth Crusade, which is supposed to be fighting in the Holy Land, is diverted to Constantinople. The Crusaders, who are in debt to the Venetians, agree to attack the Byzantine capital in exchange for money and support. They breach the walls, they capture the city, and they subject it to a brutal sack. The sack of Constantinople in 1204 is one of the most shameful episodes in the history of the Crusades. The Crusaders loot the city, stealing priceless relics, destroying works of art, and murdering the inhabitants. They desecrate the Hagia Sophia, and they establish a new Latin Empire that lasts for 57 years. The Byzantine Empire never fully recovers from the sack. The loss of wealth, prestige, and territory is catastrophic, and the empire enters a long period of decline. The Venetians, who had been instrumental in the crusade, take control of many of the empire's islands and trading posts, and they become the dominant power in the eastern Mediterranean. The slow decline. For the next 2 centuries, the Byzantine Empire struggles to survive. It is weakened by civil wars, by the loss of its provinces, and by the constant pressure of its enemies, the Bulgars, the Serbs, and the Ottomans. In the 14th century, the Ottoman Turks emerge as the greatest threat to the empire. They are a warrior people from Central Asia, and they have converted to Islam. They are expanding rapidly, and they are determined to conquer Constantinople. The Byzantine emperors try to buy time. They offer tribute to the Ottomans, they negotiate alliances with the West, and they hope for a miracle. But the miracle never comes. By the mid-15th century, the Byzantine Empire is a shadow of its former self. It has lost almost all of its territory, and it consists only of Constantinople and a few scattered possessions in Greece. The population of the city, which had once been over 400,000, has dwindled to between 40,000 and 50,000. The once great capital is now a ghost of its former glory, with vast open fields within its walls. The last emperor. In 1449, a new emperor ascends the throne, Constantine XI Palaiologos. He is the fourth son of the Emperor Manuel II, and he has spent much of his career governing the Morea in Greece. He is a man of courage and energy, but he inherits a ruinous legacy. Constantine does everything within his power to organize the defense of the city. He repairs the walls, he stockpiles food and weapons, and he seeks help from the West. He agrees to the union of the Eastern and Western churches, hoping to win military support from the Pope. But the union is deeply unpopular among the Orthodox clergy and the population, and it does not bring the promised aid. The Pope sends a few ships and a handful of soldiers, but it is not enough. The Western powers are distracted by their own conflicts, and they are unwilling to commit significant resources to save Constantinople. The Conqueror. In the Ottoman Empire, a new sultan has come to power, Mehmed II, who is just 19 years old when he ascends the throne in 1451. Mehmed is ambitious, intelligent, and ruthless. He has been planning the conquest of Constantinople since his childhood, and he is determined to succeed where his predecessors have failed. Mehmed builds a massive army, perhaps 80,000 men, including specialized infantry, cavalry, and siege engineers. He also commissions a new weapon, a massive cannon, cast in a foundry 150 miles away, that is 9 meters long and has a gaping mouth 1 meter across. The cannon can fire a stone ball that weighs over 500 kilograms, and it is dragged to the walls of Constantinople by a team of 60 oxen and over 400 men. Mehmed also builds a fleet of ships to blockade the city from the sea. He knows that Constantinople cannot be taken by land alone, it must be taken from both sides. The siege begins. On April 2, 1453, Mehmed's army arrives at the walls of Constantinople. The Byzantine defenders, numbering perhaps 7,000 to 10,000 men, look out at the vast Ottoman encampment. They are outnumbered by at least 8 to 1, and they know that the odds are against them. Constantine XI leads the defense personally. He inspects the walls, he encourages his soldiers, and he prays for divine intervention. He knows that the city cannot hold out forever, but he is determined to make the Ottomans pay for every inch of ground. The siege lasts for 55 days. The Ottomans bombard the walls with their cannons, day and night. The defenders repair the damage as best they can, but the walls are slowly crumbling. The Ottomans also try to fill the moat, to undermine the walls, and to breach the gates. The defenders fight with desperate courage. They use fire and boiling oil to repel the attackers. They launch sorties to destroy the Ottoman siege engines. They pray to the Virgin Mary and to the saints for protection. But the Ottomans are relentless. They have the numbers, the resources, and the determination to win. The final assault. On the night of May 28, 1453, Mehmed II gives the order for the final assault. He promises his soldiers that they will be rewarded with plunder and glory if they take the city. He also warns them that if they fail, they will face severe punishment. The assault begins around 1:30 a.m. on May 29. The Ottoman troops attack in 3 waves, the irregulars first, then the Anatolian troops, and finally the elite Janissaries. The Janissaries are the most feared soldiers in the Ottoman army, professional warriors who are trained from childhood to fight for the Sultan. The defenders fight with everything they have. They repel the first 2 waves, but the Janissaries are too strong. They break through the defenses near the gate of St. Romanus, and they pour into the city. Constantine XI, seeing that all is lost, makes a final stand. He tears off his imperial insignia, so that he will not be recognized, and he charges into the thick of the fighting. He is killed in the melee, his body is never found, though his death is confirmed by the chroniclers. The fall. The Ottoman soldiers flood into the city. They loot the houses, they desecrate the churches, and they kill or enslave the inhabitants. The Hagia Sophia is transformed into a mosque. The Christian symbols are covered or removed, and the call to prayer is heard from its minarets. The fall of Constantinople is a devastating blow to Christendom. The city had been a bastion against Muslim expansion for centuries, and its loss opens the way for Ottoman expansion into Europe. It also marks the end of the Byzantine Empire, the last remnant of the Roman Empire, which had lasted for over 2,000 years. But the fall of Constantinople also has a positive legacy. The Greek scholars who flee the city bring their manuscripts and their learning to Italy, where they contribute to the Renaissance. The city's art, architecture, and culture continue to inspire people around the world. And the Orthodox Church survives, albeit under Ottoman rule. The legacy. Constantinople, now called Istanbul, remains the capital of the Ottoman Empire for over 4 centuries. It is a center of trade, culture, and religion, and it becomes one of the most important cities in the Islamic world. The Hagia Sophia remains a mosque until 1934, when it is secularized and turned into a museum. In 2020, it is reconverted into a mosque, but its importance as a symbol of both Christian and Islamic civilization is undeniable. The walls of Constantinople still stand, though they are now crumbling and overgrown. They are a reminder of the city's glorious past, of the emperors who ruled, of the armies that attacked, and of the defenders who gave their lives to protect it. The lessons. What can we learn from the story of Constantinople? First, civilizations rise and fall. The Byzantine Empire lasted for over 1,000 years, but it eventually fell. No civilization is eternal, and we should not take our own for granted. Second, walls are not enough. The Theodosian walls were the most formidable fortifications in the medieval world, but they were eventually breached. Technology, in this case, cannons, changed the nature of warfare, and the walls could not keep up. Third, unity is essential. The Byzantine Empire was weakened by internal divisions, by civil wars, by religious conflicts, and by the schism with the West. If the empire had been more united, it might have survived. Fourth, hope is powerful. The defenders of Constantinople fought with desperate courage, even when they knew that the odds were against them. They believed that God would protect them, and that belief gave them the strength to fight. And finally, nothing lasts forever. Constantinople fell, but its legacy endures. Its art, its architecture, and its culture continue to inspire us today. We should remember that even in defeat, there can be a kind of victory, the victory of memory, of legacy, and of hope. The dream. Now, as you drift off to sleep, think about Constantinople. Imagine the city as it was in its golden age, the golden mosaics, the marble columns, the bustling markets, and the chanting of the priests in the Hagia Sophia. Imagine the emperors, the soldiers, and the ordinary citizens who lived, loved, and died within its walls. Imagine the siege, the cannons pounding the walls, the desperate defenders, the final assault. Imagine the last emperor, Constantine XI, charging into battle, knowing that he would not survive. Imagine the city falling, the Ottoman soldiers pouring in, the Hagia Sophia being transformed into a mosque. And imagine the legacy, the art, the culture, the faith, the memory. Constantinople is gone, but it is not forgotten. It lives on in the stories we tell, in the art we admire, and in the faith we share. So tonight, as you lie in your warm bed, in your safe home, surrounded by the people you love, think about Constantinople. Think about its rise, its glory, its fall, and its legacy. And remember that even the greatest cities can fall, but their memory can endure forever. Sleep well. Sleep deeply. And may your dreams be filled with the sound of bells, the sight of golden mosaics, and the hope of a new dawn. Good night.